All right, let's get done with question number two. The cumulative frequency diagram here is showing information about the floor area A meter square of 80 houses. What we need to do, find the median, right? So when you have to find the median, you just have to half the total number of like the total of frequency. So sigma f you have to divide by 2. So in this case it would be 40. So now do the reading on 40, that when you have a frequency of 40 cumulative, what do you have on the area? So 40 is right here, as you can see. And this is coming out to be at, you can see here it is coming out to be, there are in between 80 and 100 there are 10 boxes, so each box would be of 20 over 10, so that would be 2. How I got this? Because 100 minus 80 is 20 and there are 10 boxes, right? Small boxes I'm talking about on the x-axis. So each is of 2. So now I count the number of boxes: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2 times 5 would be 10 and 80 plus 10 would be 90. So 90 should be my median. 90 meters. ठीक है, a lot of students let's make this mistake of writing 40. That's not the answer. 40 is your cumulative frequency, and then you have to look for the data, that is area, in this question. Now they're talking about lower quartile and they will also talk about interquartile range. So since we are finding lower quartile, so why not write the formula for interquartile as well along the way, that is q3 minus q1, and q1 is nothing but lower quartile. So let's first find the lower quartile. Lower quartile means when we break the data into 4 quartiles, so we have got 80 as the sum of frequency, just divided by 4, so you get 20. So 20 is your lower quartile. Again, 20 is not your answer, you have to do the reading at 20. For 20 cumulative frequency, just go there and mark a straight line at 20 to get your value. Right, so it is coming out to be at okay. So how many boxes there? I think we have got 1, 2, 3 and 4 boxes. Right, so 4 times 2 would be 8. So 60 plus 8 would be 68. So 68 is our q1. Let's also find q3, guys, because q3 is nothing but 3 times q1. So q1 was 20, so q3 would be 60, right? How q1 was 20? Because 80 you have and you have to break it into 4 quarters. So 0 till 20 will be your first quarter, and then 20 to 40 will be your second quarter, right? Then 20 to then 40 to 60 is your third quartile, and your 60 to 80 is your final quartile. Final quartile we are not interested in. Normally q4 we are not interested. q2 and q3 and q1. q2 you just saw, that was median, this particular, and then we have q3 here, which we have to find. This is corresponding to 60, right? You can just see where I will land here so that you can mark accordingly. Okay, so 60 is that line in the middle, this one. right? So this line particularly I can get here and then here, right? So this is how much? So 100, and then I have got, I'm just behind 120, or I'm exactly at 120, right? So I'm exactly at 120. Fine. So that is my Q3. Q3, right? So Q3 is 120. Now let's get back to the question and subtract 120, subtract that 68 from 120. So we get how much? 52. That should be the interquartile, and for lower quartile you have already computed Q1 as 68. So you got 2 marks in total, 1 plus 1. Number of houses with a floor area greater than 120 meters square. So this you have to check with your um, graph, cumulative graph, and area they're talking about. So floor area is taken on the x-axis because that is the data point. So you have to see at 120, and how much data point do you see above 120, right? So this is 120 right here, and it corresponds to 60, as you just saw. As you just saw, it is corresponding right to 60, exactly to 60. So you have to subtract, total 80 houses are there, and you have to subtract 60 from 80. Why? Because 60 houses are such which have a floor area equal to or lesser than 120 in this range from 40 to 120 meter square. These 60 houses do not have area beyond 120 meter square. But those 20 houses, 80 minus 60, those are 20 houses. So they are lying in this particular range over here. So they have area more than 120, as you can see, and ranging up to 200 meters square. So those are how many houses? 80 minus 60. Do not forget to subtract this 60 minus 60 from 80. So you get 20 as your answer for this one. Okay. So basically we had to subtract 60 from 80, because if you will write 60 as your answer, you will get only 1 mark. Moving to part B, the information about the 80 floor areas is shown in this frequency table. All right, same continuation of the same question, but you see here the floor area is provided to you, but that is in interval. So you need to find an estimate of the mean. Whenever we are asked to find estimate of the mean, it is a clear hint that we need to find the midpoints of the intervals, because that is the case, that is the reason why they are asking you for estimate. Otherwise they would have asked you to find exactly. So now they are not asking you to find exactly, they are asking you to estimate. All right, so 40 is by the way, this frequency we consider as f, and the formula for mean is sigma or summation of fx times summation of f. So summation of f we already know is 80, because it's mentioned right here, and it was mentioned in the previous part as well, that there are 80 houses. But fx is like multiplying the frequency by x. What is x? Is this x? No, that would be a mistake, because if I take it as x, so which of the two values, for example 40 or 60, am I going to multiply with 14? That is going to be so confusing for each one of them. 60 and 80 and 80 and 100. So the way out for this that statisticians gave us is finding the midpoint. So I would mark here x, and for each of the intervals I will find the midpoint. How to find the midpoint? Let me show you for just one, and I think you are smart enough to do for the rest. You just have to add the lower and upper interval and divide by 2. I think that is also the average or mean. Same thing that we do for raw data mean. So that would be 50. This would be 60 and 80. In between, what value do you have? 70. You can do mental maths here as well. 80 and 100, definitely 90. 100 and 130, so that is 30 and divide by 2 would be 15. So 100 plus 15, 115. 130 and 60, 160, that is again 30, divide by 2, 115. 130 plus 15, 145. 160 and 200 is 40, 40 divided by 2 is 20, 20 plus 160 is 180. So I just show you the calculation for the last one. This is how I'm doing. 40 over 2 is 20, and I would have to add this 20 in the lower interval, so it would give me 180. Right now I have my x, now I have my f, and I just need to multiply. Nobody has their x with them, but I do. So let's multiply x with f right here. So you get 50 times 14 plus 70 times 17. I hope you are following through. And let me assist you here. This value with this value with this, I'm going to multiply. Right? Why? Because these are the corresponding f and x that I need for my formula of group data mean. This is a question of group data. How to identify, by the way, group data? When you have two pair of values and they are linked together, like they make sense when read together. If they are read together and making sense, so that is where you know that it is a group data. Right? Let me make some space and it is clear. Okay, now this is it, and let's divide it by um, 80. So now calculator part. Okay, so 50 times 14, and then 70 times 17, then 90 times 80, and this is what I get. So I'm getting 700 plus 1190 plus 1620 plus 1725 plus 1305, and then add that to 1260. All of these will be divided by 80. Don't forget that. Right? So 1260 plus 1305 plus 122 1725, and all right, so that is giving me 7,800 divided by 80. I cancel the zero there, and then I divide it accordingly. So I get 97.5 meters square as my estimate of the mean. Now, part 2, frequency density. You have an incomplete histogram drawn for you, and you have to complete that for, I think, 2 marks, 3 marks, right? Oh, sorry. This one is for 4 marks. So complete the histogram to show the information in the frequency table. So as you would remember, and let me make you recall, histograms are drawn using this frequency density formula. Fd is equals to F. Frequency density is equals to F frequency divided by class interval. So for the first two are done. The first two are these two actually. This one and this one, they have already been done for you. Now they're asking us to do 80 till 100. Okay, so 80 till 100 we need to find, guys. We already know what we will have on the x-axis. It will be from 80 to 100, but we need to know the height, the y-axis value of frequency density, for which I just shared with you this formula. So I would find that for this particular third the interval, that is 80 to 100. So my class interval is 20. 100 minus 80, that is how you do it. You subtract the lower from the upper, and frequency is 18, so I did do this, so I get 0 0.9. So 0 0.9 is right here, so it would go like this and then come down like this. All right. Okay, the next one is from 100 to 130. Let's mark this that we have just done with blue. So we are done with this. Now we are going to do 100 to 130. Do keep a check on the intervals because they can be confusing sometimes. Okay, so now I remove this and use the same formula one more time. This is giving me a lot of marks because there are so many intervals left. That is why they are awarding you 4 marks, one for each bar that you draw of a histogram. Right. So now, can you guess what is going to be in frequency? For the fourth one, that is the frequency is right here 15. The class interval is 130 and 100. So you can subtract, so to get 30. So 15 over 30 would be 0 0.5. So 0 0.5 is right here, and you can start from 100 and go on till 130. That would be after 5 small boxes, after 120, 1 2 3 4 5. So I would have to end here. Let's start from here and connect here. Right, so I'm done with this one as well. I've gained 2 marks, and now 130 to 160. 130 to 160. All right, so let's do this one more time, and this time it is going to be frequency of 9 divided by class interval that we have to find out. 160 minus 130 would be 30, so this would be 0 0.3, right? Not 6.3. Sorry about that. 0.3. Right. So 0.3 is in the range, and you can also obviously automatically double check if you are getting something of frequency density out of this range of 0 and 1.0. So that is a mistake on your part, obviously. So that is a hint from the examiner. 0.3. All right. 0.3. So 0.3 would be right here. I think two small boxes on the uh, y-axis make up 0.1, and then again two small boxes 0.2, and then again two small boxes 0.3. So we start from 0.3 and go on till 160. Right? Okay, so what about the last one? Last one is asking you for a frequency of 7 and a class interval of 200 minus 160, that is 40. So 7 over 40, you can just calculate on the calculator. It is going to give you 0.175, the trickiest of all by far. So 0.175 definitely is going to lie in between 0.1 and 0.2. So this is 0.1, this is 0.2. In between them is 0.15, and right above 0.15, I think three small boxes. So 1, 2, 3, and then I would just pick up from there. So this would be right here. I will have to go till the end. So till here, like 200. Now it's done and you have gained your 4 marks. Let's move. Two of the houses are picked at random and find the probability that one of the houses has a floor area greater than 130 meters square. Okay. And the other has a floor area of 60 meters square or less. So let's look at the frequency table.